Well, good evening from Fort McMurray, Alberta for Sunday, June the 23rd. I have with me tonight Zulkifil Mujahid, and we're coming from Unlock Alberta. And we're here to try and unlock Southern Alberta tonight. We're talking to our friends in Chestermere, Alberta, where they have a by-election tomorrow. So 'tis the night before the election. The reason that I wanted Zulkifil to come on here with me to talk to the people of Chestermere is because what's happening in Chestermere right now happened here in Fort McMurray during the provincial election. Zulkifil was our democratically elected UCP candidate for Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo constituency. When he won that constituency, it came as a surprise to some of the upper management of the UCP. And without warning, pretty much, fake charges were brought against him. And I want to clarify something before I go any further. I did not know him when this was going on. Fake charges were brought against him, and the paper here and all over social media was talking about this horrible person who had a restraining order placed on him and all this horrible stuff. And I'm like, geez, glad they got that asshole out of the race. And then things started to change. And I was told, maybe things aren't what they seem. So I went into the courthouse myself. I did not take anybody's word for it. I went and I got the documents and I sat in the courtroom and listened to the entire case. Within minutes, it became clear, not just to me, but to the presiding judge as well, that this was all a bunch of bullshit. And he realized that it was a political move, an abuse of the system for political gain is what it was. Anyways, end of that. When I saw how evil the UCP government truly was, that they would literally destroy a man's life to prevent him from becoming the MLA of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, I said, okay, it's time I get involved in politics, because I never had before. I had an uncle who served as an MP here for 13 years, and I didn't get into politics then. Well, you can't get me out of it now. So when I saw what was happening in Chestermere, I was sick to my stomach, because this is the exact same tactics that they used here, the exact same UCP government, the same players. The only thing different is the victim. The victim being Jeff Colvin and Funkin Hamley. It's absolutely atrocious what is going on, because they put fake charges against them. And I will bet the farm that these charges are dropped once the election is over. What do you think, Zulkifil?
It might take time, but at the end, justice and truth will prevail. But I think it takes at least 1 year. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. Who am I? My name is Zulki Mujahid, as Connie Shield mentioned, and I'm from Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo. And I was I joined UCP in 2018 as a board of director, and then I found something is not right in the party. Then I talked to some of the grassroots people, some grassroots conservative members, and they pushed me to run for a nomination election for MLA. So I ran and I won in December 4, 2022, and I defeat Mr. Tan Yao, who was an incumbent MLA, and he was a sitting parliamentary secretary for rural health at that time, backed by powerful UCP ministers and Daniel Smith as well. So when I defeat this gentleman, what happened, I don't want to go on that detail, but they disqualify me. I want to discuss you when they disqualify me on April 18, 2023. What happened? UCP Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo constituency pass a motion and they say, no, provincial board, you have no authority. You cannot disqualify an elected democratically guy. and we support Zulkifli Mujahid, and it's all over the news, by the way. So UCP provincial board, very next day, April 19, 2023, they changed the bylaw and they mentioned that Queen Elizabeth, oh sorry, Queen Daniel Smith, she will appoint any candidate on out of 87 constituencies. So Queen Daniel Smith, why you did nomination election? If you wanna choose 87 selected candidates, so it's attack on democracy. Forget about that. But they did mistake because evil people always do mistake. She passed that so-called bylaw on April 19, but they put a date of April 15, 2023. And I think it's a crime. It's a crime, but I don't know who will decide that. So then when I see Mayor Jeff Corbyn, what is going on with you? It doesn't make me surprised. Even I told Connie Shield 2 weeks ago that this guy, if he dare to run for by-election, he will get lawsuits. And Connie told me, no, Mujahid, it's not gonna happen. I said, you will see. Because it happened with me. Because the red drop on May 1, and they disqualify me on April 18, 12 days before. So when the red drop on for Chestermere election, by-election, they just did a lawsuit just 4 days ago. And who did it? A so-called selected guy by Mr. Minister Rick McIver, and the guy who's unelected, and he is your CEO and mayor, acting CEO and mayor, and he put a charge on you. Like seriously, who gave you that authority to put a charge on a guy who was investigating on what you called on corruption? But that's the biggest crime, Mr. Mayor Jeff Cohen, you did. You try to investigate, you try to save taxpayer money, and you try to do some development, you try to reduce the taxes. That's a crime. You need to be get punished. So, and one more thing, Mayor Jeff Cohen, what they are doing with you, they will divide your voters by putting fake charges, and say maybe people will think, okay, tomorrow don't vote for Jeff Cohen. Maybe he's a bad guy, he's a corrupt guy, or he's a criminal. And one more thing they will do with you, that they will divide your voters by using the nationality, by using the race, by using the color of the skin, by using the religion, because that's what they did in Fort McMurray.
This is
And
exactly why I wanted to have this discussion tonight, because after seeing all of the political theater going on all over social media, it's mind-boggling when you just sit back and look at it, because it becomes very clear what they're doing. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if it's being all funded right out of the UCP camp, because you see all of the talk is Chalmers supporters bashing Colvin supporters, Colvin supporters bashing Chalmers supporters. You just see the two camps head to head, nonstop. I don't know if you saw it yesterday about the phone call that was going around to a lot of people in Chestermere claiming to be from Chalmers' campaign and stating that Daniel Smith was backing it. And now Daniel Smith has come out all upset that no, she had nothing to do with it. Nah, I'm calling bullshit on the whole thing. Because what it did is it sparked a lot of the Chalmers supporters to say, oh no, that was Colvin's camp. They did this deliberately. And it's got the camps divided. But when I take a step back and look at this, Chalmers didn't run for re-election when Jeff Coben won. Why is he back in there now? It's theater.
because company told him to run.
That's right, because his brother-in-law Rick McIver and the rest of the UCP sat down and thought this strategic plan out. We'll throw him back in there, but we'll grab an insurance card. And the light went on today. So people, it's exactly what they did here in Fort McMurray. When you went in and put your name on with Elections Alberta that you were running as an independent, bam, they needed an insurance card. And that's exactly what they've done in Chestermere. They needed an insurance card. So guess who stepped down as a councillor to run for mayor? That's right, Shannon Dean. Guess who's backing Shannon Dean and out campaigning? And it's absolutely, the picture is being drawn real clear in front of me. They have purposely pitted the Colvin and the Chalmer camps against each other so that people are so busy fighting and getting so pissed off with the two of them that they're saying, I'm not voting for either one. And they run in and they vote for Shannon Dean, all by design,
You know why they did?
to get Shannon
Because
Dean in because they want to.
because according to the polls, because I made some calls, according to the polls, according to the UCP MLAs and ministers, I know some of them, they are thinking that this gentleman, Mayor Jeff Cohen, is winning. And Daniel Smith, she don't want that. She wants somebody from the company.
Some puppet.
So yeah, puppet. So right now we have two candidates who belongs to same party UCP, and one guy who wanna represent the people is Mayor Jeff Cohen. So they try to divide the vote, and they are saying, okay, maybe over one candidate will win or the second one will win. Either way, we
No,
are winning.
I well, either way they're winning exactly. When you own all the horses in the race, you don't care who wins places or shows, right? And
As long as they are your puppet.
that's exactly what's happening. Shannon Dean is clearly a UCP supporter. Um, you see Bruce McAllister in there in the mix. The people of Chestermere still need to ask, what was McAllister's connection to Chalmer and his brother-in-law Rick MacGyver in the whole bullshit that's about to come out? And then you stop and you take a step back and you see that the UCP tabled Bill 20 right after this to give them authority to step in and fire any mayor and council. Like, this is insanity. This is what you call
So sorry to cut
communism.
you, but they disqualify, they remove a guy before they pass Bill 20 even. So same
Exactly.
thing, same thing they did with me. They kicked me out before they change their bylaws.
That's what I'm saying. The tactics in this are identical to what happened here. And that's why I thought it was really important tonight to come on and hopefully talk rationally to the people in Chestermere. And it's really hard to wrap your head around this because it's so twisted and it's so corrupt. But one of the things that bugs me too, and I said this last night, I did a little video last night where I tried to tell the people of Chestermere, Deloitte is the company who did the report. Deloitte was chosen and the inspector by none other than Minister Rick MacGyver. Rick MacGyver has a lot invested here because it's his brother-in-law, Chalmer, and he can say, well, he lied. He got caught with his pants down on that one. He bold-faced lied that he was not related to him. And then it came out, well, funny thing is your sister was married to him, so that did make you related. And you still have, you're still the uncle to their children and all those kinds of things. So a liar is a liar is a liar is a liar. How can we believe this camp with anything they say? But something that's really bugging me about, he chooses Deloitte to do the report. Deloitte is a United Nations company. And that's important. It's really important because what people don't understand, and I'm not getting into that here tonight, it's all part of Agenda 2030, which the UCP, the Liberals, the NDP, the Green Party, all of them are signed on to. They're all a uni party. It doesn't really matter. And I know you were saying earlier that your friends within the UCP are saying that what's happening in Chestermere is going to cause the UCP to lose the election in Calgary, like they already did in Edmonton. But in my opinion, that doesn't matter because they're a uni party. They're all signed on to the same agenda. And you got people talking about how the federal government is trying to override the provincial and come straight to the municipality. Well, what's the difference? You got the provincial trying to override the municipal. When you've got people like Jeff Colvin who aren't playing in that sandbox, you have a chance at getting control back. And that's what this whole thing is that they're fighting over control of control. And the corruption is so deep, it's mind boggling. But I really wanted to drive home when something just clicked with me too. When all of this was going down with you, and when I started to support you, there's certain UCP members, high ranking UCP members, who tried to destroy my company by making false defamatory statements all over social media about my company, trying to destroy my company because I supported you. And I saw that same person's face in a video in being involved in the Chestermere race. So don't
You know
tell me
why?
yeah, because the UCP are into this.
Payrolls. They are on UCP payrolls.
Absolutely.
Same as like some of the religious non-profit organizations are doing same thing because they got bribery in a shape of grants. Oh, if you support this guy, we will give you grant.
Well, that's something else too.
Yeah.
One of the people that's on social media bashing the Colvin camp happens to be one of the administration who took the hush money. And that's something else. The report,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Thinking she's in there under a false name, but if you go through her friends list and you can figure it out, she uses the same first name, different last name. But this whole Deloitte report, they first of all claimed that Mayor Colvin signed the checks to the tune of 600,000 for hush money. One of these checks apparently went to this woman who's bashing the Colvin camp. Well, if Colvin signed these checks, why is she bashing his camp, number one? But it was found in when you sift through the evidence and stuff that's been presented so far, those checks were issued manually through a manual payroll. You're a businessman, you do payroll. Do you go to your board of directors before you do a manual payroll run? I don't.
Why would I?
Exactly, why would you? It goes through payroll and it's a payroll entry and it's paid by electronic fund transfer. So this is where you talk about, when you're telling a lie and you get caught in your lies. So, I mean,
You have to lie one more, and then you have
yes.
to lie again.
So
So
it's clear in this report, how could Jeff Colvin have signed a payroll entry? It's all electronic. Where would his signature have gone? How could he possibly have approved this when it never came to council?
Connie, I want to end this conversation by telling you the story, back home story. It's a famous story, and people say like one thief was trying to steal something from one house, and the guy caught. And what's gonna happen? Like the king of that time said, thief, okay, now you need to investigate how we can stop stealing. So that's what's going on over here. So the thieves are the judges now. They are the one who's trying to make a judgment. Like Jeff Cohen was trying to reduce the corruption, exposing the corruption and investigating. Now he got investigation. Wow. Wow. So yeah, we don't want to take too much time of the audience, and I just want to give one message, last message, and it's like you need to elect Mayor Jeff Cohen again tomorrow. Do not listen. Do not listen anybody that he's a Christian, or oh, you guys are Muslim, oh, you guys are Hindus, or you guys are like Sikh, or you guys are black or brown. Vote for the black guy or brown guy, or vote for this guy. He will bring grants for your temple, or for your mosque, or for your gurdwara. Do not think about it, because they want to give you a bribery. vote for a guy, whether he's from any religion, any race, but if he's a good guy, vote for that guy. If you believe on me, and I know some of the people, you guys know me on Chestermere, so vote for Mayor Jeff Corbyn. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's mind-boggling what's being done there, and don't fall for this big theater trying to separate the people in those two camps so that Shannon Dean slips in. My view is that could be the biggest mistake of all. We know Chalmers doesn't want the position. So why is he there? Ask yourself that. It's the whole thing is so corrupt. Rick McIver, being the brother-in-law of Chalmers, number one, they shouldn't be involved in the same theater, shall we say. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, we need to do whatever we can to show the people the corruption here. And I don't care how you vote, NDP, Liberal, UCP. I know Danielle Smith has a lot of supporters in Alberta, but they're starting slowly to see that maybe she's not the saint they've made her out to be. Maybe she is signed on to this agenda. And, you know, when they say that they want net zero by 2050, what people need to understand is we're the carbon they want to erase. But here's one of the big things that I think you're going to find in this whole scam. If Jeff Coleman is put back in that seat, I think you're going to find that they uncover this whole carbon capture scam. And it is a multi-billion-dollar scam. So fasten your seatbelts, Chestermere. I wrote a little poem for you. Really
Oh,
quick though. It was, well, I had 2 minutes in between, so I wrote it. So don't judge me on the poem. It's real quick. 'Twas the night before the election, and all through Chestermere rumors were flying, and the corruption was near. Shame, Shannon Dean and Chalmers, your dirty tricks won't win, for the people see through all the lies that you spin. Bruce McAllister pushes the insurance card called Shannon Dean, but we're not foolish. We know what's been seen. Colvin, Fote, Funk, and Hanley, do not despair. Your seat you will take, for we know what is fair. The UCP interfered to divide and confuse, splitting the camps, hoping people will lose sight of the truth as they bicker and fight. So Dean slips in under the cover of night. Chalmers, who doesn't truly want to succeed, is part of the ploy as they plant the seed of discord and doubt to muddle the game. But we won't fall for your tactics so lame. As ballots are counted, the truth will come clear. The voices of Chestermere will rise without fear. No more deceit, no more games to be played. For justice and fairness, our votes will be weighed. So rest, dear citizens, and trust in the fight, for tomorrow brings hope and the dawn's early light. Together we stand in unity and might. For Chestermere's future, we'll vote for what's right. Go Colvin!
go Corbyn.
And
Vote
I
for
guess I
Corbyn.
should throw in here, go Oilers, because it's
Go.
Stanley Cup tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Any last words, Zakifo?
I would like to say congratulations, Connie. Tomorrow we have a winning party because Mayor Jeff Corbyn is winning. You will see tomorrow.
I sure hope so. And he's got my vote. I wish I lived in Chestermere that I could vote because
A-
this
And
is
it's a big win for Albertans. It's
it.
a revolution.
It's unlocking Alberta, and that's what my whole
Yeah.
page is all about, unlocking Alberta. And we need to do that. I wish the UCP was legit, but unfortunately, I've come to see firsthand they're not. Now, and sadly enough, you know, I think even the people in Colvin's campaign believe in the UCP. But
Yes. Let's
uh,
see.
it more light's being shed all the time. So I do have faith in the truth.
Me too.
Go Chestermere.
Go Chester.
Follow the truth.
Vote for. Vote for.
One
Yes,
check
Jeff.
mark not just for Jeff, but for the city councilmen who were fired as well. They deserve
Yeah, definitely.
feedback. Let them finish their term. There'll be another election. If they're not holding up to what they say they are, if they don't clear all of this, you get another election coming.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you and happy trails, Chestermere. Get to those polls.
Yeah. Good night, guys.
Good night.